Hey guys, welcome to another video. I'm gonna talk about some different things as well. Conspiracies, some other sources and articles that I found about oil and who uses oils and whatnot. But I'm first gonna do just technical analysis on the chart. I'll add timestamps and then you can scroll to the next part of the video, or you can just leave the video if you're done after looking at the technical analysis. So first things first, the S&P, I did change my count a little bit. I had this fifth wave here, this fourth wave here, and then this wave 3 topping here. I changed it into the top taking place in October, and then this being an ABC. Why did I do that? I looked at the Nasdaq. This one is a little bit clearer because here we do not take this high. So labeling this as a wave 4 and a wave 5 is not possible because you don't take this previous high. Okay, so we have to label this a wave X or a wave B in a WXY or an ABC. Okay, in this case I'm labeling it WXY because the move here in this Y wave looks like it's going to be a 3-wave move. Now plotting this then to the S&P chart is the reason I changed my count a little bit. Looking at the Nasdaq here, we closed the weekly not below this swing, but we took in last week this W wave low. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that in the sense that, look, now this Y wave goes beyond this W wave, and we have reached the 1-to-1 fib taken from this W to this X wave, and then as a target box for this Y wave, we have reacted to it as well, which is, in my opinion, good. I have this internal AB inside this Y wave. That's why this red box is here. For this internal C wave, the target, the 1-to-1, is at 23,442. Okay. Together with then the next targets for this Y wave, the 1.236, the 1.32, and the blue point of control of this range here, and the 0.236 taken from last year, April's low to like the top that we have here. Okay, so I'm expecting Monday to be green, also considering that post hours on Friday we had a good bounce from this area, and this is ignoring all the news. Okay, it's just based on technical analysis, we could get a green start to the day maybe, but I'm not disclosing more price action to the downside. Okay, if we do that, we have a nice cluster here. Okay, that will be a stronger area, and we could maybe try to reverse from there, or at least try to bounce from there. Okay, so that's the Nasdaq. Going back to the S&P with what I said on the Nasdaq in our mind. Here as well, if we label this the A wave, the B wave, here your B wave overshoots this fifth wave, but we're not going beyond the maximum B wave target. Okay, that's the 1.236. If we went beyond that with this push, I would have to put this here, but we don't, so we can still label this as a B wave. Then the target box here, your C wave. We also here took the A wave low by just a very slight bit, as you can see. Okay, the low is here and we wicked below it. So I'm happy with that as well here. The C wave took the A wave low. We crossed the 1-to-1 already, taken from this A to the B. But of course, this can also move down more. The C wave can go to the 1.236, the 382, and even the 1.618, which is a little bit more to the downside here. Also then here we had post-market, a very good candle here. Okay, so I'm expecting maybe also a green Monday here. Then the internal count for this C wave, it's tricky because it's very overlappy, but I'm trying to force a 5-wave move in it, because in a C wave you want to see a 5-wave move. And then I have this labeling here, 1, 2, maybe this is another 1, 2. 3, 4, 5 inside this wave tree, then we might still get a 4 and a 5, okay? So I'm not saying it's gonna bottom here, but we might get a little bit of a bounce, then move down. If we do, ultimately, our next box here, also on this chart, we have more confluence here with different levels, is here at around 6,400 to 6,500, okay? US dollars. With that, we might maybe push a little bit more down on the daily RSI, get into the oversold territory. Last time we did it was last year in April. And then one more thing on both charts, we are moving down on lower volume, okay? If we were moving down on increasing volume, I would be more scared and I would maybe label this as double 1-2s here, multiple 1-2s here, after which we will get a third wave. But I think that's not so likely, okay? The volume, unless like this week some nukes are gonna be dropped and we're gonna dump and the volume increase here, yet then I guess I'm too late with detecting it. But for now, it's, I think, a good thing that we're moving down on lower volume here. So locally, try to stay above this point of control here at 6,582. If we lose it, we focus on here. If we move higher from here, yeah, the focus goes to this point of control here to the upside, and then the micro count I'll do in another video. That's it for technical analysis. Now, if you want some conspiracy shit, yeah, you're welcome to stay. So first things first, on social media you can see a lot. There's a lot, okay? You don't know what's correct anymore. Everybody sounds like he or she is an expert. Okay, I'm saying this while I'm also trying to explain something, and I might be wrong. I probably will be wrong. So I'm shooting my own leg here a little bit, but I'm just trying to say there is so much information, and in that information there is so much misinformation, okay? You have people talking about, yeah, a COVID 2.0, but then with energy we won't have electricity or blah blah blah. Do I think that's gonna happen? If the governments force it, yes, but it's not gonna be because of the Strait of Hormuz and because of the war in Iran. It's because they want to then force it. And I'm saying this because, yeah, for just normal life to proceed, you need oil and gas and electricity. I think Europe and the US have their ways to make your electricity with nuclear energy, with solar, with wind, okay? And then I just, out of curiosity, did look into where does the European Union buy gas from, for example, okay? And in 2025, so last year, it was 80% United States, 80, no wait, this is the, it's not in percentages. All of this is together 100, this is in units. I don't know what unit this is, I didn't read it completely, but basically you can see that the EU, the European Union, imports from North Africa, Norway, the US, Russia still. Also now I think last week the US said that it's like lowering sanctions on the Russian pipelines, so maybe Europe is gonna now temporarily increase the imports from Russia. But then others, I think the Middle East fits in here. So you can see it's not doomsday for Europe, okay? It's already not relying too much on the Middle Eastern countries, okay? I think this increased, if we compare it to here, yep, from 41, whatever the unit is, to 56, due to the decrease in Russian supplies, okay? But then it's still like, if we take a percentage on this, it's still not a major stress point. Okay, if like Russia, if like the Middle East explodes, Europe won't be without gas. Okay. Same then. Wait, what was this website? Because it's been a few hours since I got these links. This one is on oil, I think. Yep, not on gas. And also here you can see imports of petroleum oils by in Q3 of 2025. Okay, with regards to petroleum oils, the EU banned. So here you can see, okay, there is indeed Saudi Arabia is here. I think this is in percentage point. Yep, 6.8. Iraq is here, and then others. I think, yeah, it sucks that they don't show the countries in here, but it has to be, I think, the Middle East as well. Okay, but you can see here, and I mean then Iran and the other Gulf states. You can see it's okay, more significant here, but not more than 50%. Okay, you can increase Nigeria, you can increase US, you can increase Norway. Okay, what it will do, it will make prices here more expensive, but I don't think we're gonna go into doomsday scenarios where we have no oil, no gas, no electricity, unless the governments want to do that, and then you have conspiracies like, yeah, they want to do a second lockdown, blah blah blah, the 2030 New World Order plan. You've all seen these things probably online. But if it happens, I don't think it's gonna be because of the war that's going on in the Middle East. It's gonna be happening because the elite group decides to do it. Okay, because there is availability of the resources even outside the Middle East for the European Union. Then when it comes to the US, crude oil producing top 5 crude oil producing states. I thought I had a page here where I could see from where the US gets its oil from, but I'm failing to find it. Let me check it on Google then quickly. Petroleum imports, Canada, Mexico, and then you can see the Middle East. It's really not a lot. We have to also consider they took Venezuela now. They will have even more oil available there for the US. Okay, gas primarily from Canada. Okay, so for the US as well, you're not like running out of oil, okay, or gas. Yep, because of the Middle East, the prices will go up probably. They can stay elevated. This will only wreck the consumer. It won't, lead into doomsday scenarios, I think. And this is something you can see a lot online nowadays, and it's a little bit scary, but do I think it's gonna happen? I don't think so. Yep, the oil price might stay high. The gas pump maybe won't go back to prices from before the Middle East war, okay, before the conflict. But ultimately, that's gonna be pain in the ass for the consumer, and I think industries are gonna keep surviving. Okay, some might struggle and some might get wrecked if they don't have the foundation or the cash for it, because it's gonna become more expensive, and if you're doing R&D, not really generating money, you're at a risky place. But I don't think the market is gonna go like do a 2008 scenario, because also the whole world seems to know that a market crash is coming, blah blah blah, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. If it happens, it's gonna have to happen more quietly, I think. At least that's my view on it. I might be completely wrong. Looking at oil here, I just was curious how it was in COVID, because here we had a consistent rise in the oil price starting from, I'm gonna ignore this part. I don't know, maybe this chart is not really so good, but here in 2020 the oil price was dropping, and then from November or October 2020 it started going up. If I look at the stock market, in October it was maybe dropping a little bit, but look, it went up with it, okay? Like, yep, you might have a little bit of a shock here, but I'm struggling to see how it can be, yeah, a crash like in 2008. It's, I don't know, and again, I might be completely wrong. I might be completely wrong, but I think this is just all noise, and they're just maybe just trying to push the oil prices higher. It will hit the consumer, and then I come back to my previous video about that maybe the elites are pushing towards electricity and, yeah, trying to move away from oil and gas. They're trying to push, yeah, futuristic cities, more databases, more electric cars, more blah blah blah. Maybe with this, if they can increase the price of oil, people having like diesel cars, petroleum cars will be like, it's too expensive. Maybe it's better to go electric by just themselves and not by being pushed by the government. Yeah, by being pushed indirectly, but they will make the decision themselves. You have the CEOs of, like, yeah, major companies saying that nuclear energy will be very relevant in the future, also moving a little bit away then from oil, okay? And then of course you have one more layer of conspiracy, and that is what is happening in, yeah, Iran, other than just increasing the oil price for different reasons, okay? You have also it being a distraction from, I think, the Epstein files, but also then a distraction from Israel and the Greater Israel Plan. They are now pushing into Lebanon. They want to, yeah, increase their border, like not increase, but they want to expand their borders into Lebanon. With all this shit going on, we are not hearing anything about Gaza. Who knows what's going on there? They obliterated it already. Maybe they're also taking that in. No one is hearing about anything. They are annexing places in the West Bank, have been doing it for always, are doing it maybe even more intensely now because there's so much noise from other places. So I hope you understand my thinking, and I hope you liked my perspective. Again, don't take it as financial advice, but just maybe a different perspective. Also, the sources I used were from the European Union itself, and from the US it's from Google, yep, but I think it's very trustable that the US uses has imports from Canada and Mexico, and it produces a lot itself, okay? So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.